Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Prokhorovka. I have a true treat for you today, a marvellous game in the Batchat 25t. There's two of the buggers, and the performances are by Blacklow and D. I would attempt to pronounce his name, but it would probably become a travesty of kind of guttural, like, grunting rather than actually a grasp of the English language. In any case, this game's remarkable, truly, not just because of the startling competence displayed in Batchats, which is a challenging tank by nature. I'm about to pull my headphones out. Yeah, it's a challenging tank by its very nature. However, the end of this game brings tension, excitement, and it stands on the precipice of something amazing, incredible. It's going to be wonderful. If you've played the Batchat before, you'll probably be able to guess, based on your knowledge of what is fairly likely to happen if you have a good game in the Batchat. In any case, come over to the east side of the map, where they're confronted by a decent amount of heavy tanks. Now, in a lovely fashion, Flint's going to get a double track on this WZ. Now, luckily the WZ misses a shot, but that's one thing with the Batchat. Picks up a kill in there. One thing with the Batchat is trading. It's a serious thing with Batchat, is that you don't want to take damage in this tank. This thing is an assassin, very much like a tier 8 light tank. You want to keep your hit points in this vehicle, and in lieu of that, in honour of that concept, they're running like bitches, which is exactly the right thing to do when faced with the front of an IS-4, and I believe there's a T-10 over there as well, isn't there? Two IS-4s, there will be a T-10 over there, there's also an OHO. That's not a Batchat playing field. That's not something you want to end up in. So, they're retreating, trying to keep their health, trying to keep their distance, use their camera range, use their view range, APCR shells as standard, so faster shell travel time. You know what? Take a moment, just do a quick, I love the shell, just keeps me occupied. I'm like that, I give a fiddle with everything. Let's have a quick moment to take a review of the Batchat, shall we? So, among the lowest hit pool of any tier 10 medium, I believe the TVP 5051 is the competitor in regard to lower hit pools. But as you've seen there, 0.26, 0.28 actually, 0.26 when it's fully equipped with a 2, 0.28 accuracy with a 2.7 second aim time. It doesn't lend itself to precision at distance, very much like other French tanks. Yeah, the 1390 is springing to my mind at the moment. They're tanks that you really don't want to fire, particularly on the move or at distance, because you know, the Batchat's only got 5 shells in the clip. It has a clip potential of 1,950, which is very, very good, but 390 alpha damage per shell combined with that accuracy and that aim time, at distance, you're likely to miss. Now, it's got 259mm of pen with APCR, and with heat, 330. As I said before, this thing is an assassin, which is why I love the playstyle that they adopt in this game. You can see he's reversing behind the bush here, so that he doesn't get spotted when he fires, trying to pinpoint a shot onto the 1390. Wait! I think he waited to fire there until the 1390 was behind the bushes. Does get spotted there, and lingering for the shot at 1390. May not have been worth it, but he does pick it up. A nice snipe there, considering the accuracy of this gun, and it's kind of herpy-derpy nature. One good thing about the Batchat though, like all tier 10 mediums, is it can mount vertical stabilizers, unlike the 1390 where the on-the-move accuracy of these tanks, French autoloaders, really rears its ugly head. 1390 is just so terrible at that. Do not fire that tank on the move unless you're right in the face of the opponents. And you can adopt that gameplay in the Batchat as well. In any case, 42 degrees a second transverse speed based on the Batchat with a 38 tank transverse. Incredibly mobile tank. You can get on the battlefield and adapt your gameplay very well. shooting at 120 millimeters of side armor on the T10. That's got 120 at the front as well, in case you wanted to know. But it is Russian, so it's spaced armor and side skirts all down the side of that vehicle, not likely to pull out pens, even with APCR shells, which do better against the side of T10s. Well, T10s, spaced armor in general. Now, you're seeing this wonderful play from these guys here. They're just getting what they can at every stage of the engagement. They put some shells out, they fall back, they hold a position, put some shells out, fall back, keeping their health, keeping that dominating Batchat factor that you really need to harp on in this tank to get the most out of the vehicle. Keep your health, unless you're absolutely certain that it is worth the trade, that you will not take damage. Your health is far more important than damage in the Batchat, really, because, as I said, they're just so capable at the end of the game, and they don't take damage. Not sure whether it was RNG or that tiny little sidestep that saved him from 750 alpha damage from a BL-10. 286 millimeters of pen on that ISU, unfortunately, does not pick up the kill. But now, we got serious problems. Base is in the south at the moment, but you've got those two heavy tanks just blazing over it, and yeah. I am really surprised they pulled out penetrations with those two shells. 140mm of frontal armor on the front of the IS-6. Its lower plate is actually 160mm flat base armor, even though it's angled a little bit. Side armor is 160 as well. So pulling out pens at distance, especially with APCR, is, well, it's impressive to say the least. Now, 5,000 damage from the Batchat here. 5,000! That's a decent game by any stretch of the imagination, but there's still over half the enemy team left to beat the piss out of. And if you haven't noticed, Blick only has 6 shells left. This is one of the quarrels, the conundrums in the Batchat, whether you actually want to take a heat clip of ammunition, because right now, as you're seeing, if he does fire one from the heat clip, then they'll have the choice of reloading one APCR shell or not a full clip of heat, whereas if you take all APCR, you can always be sure, which is what I do actually, I take full APCR on the Batchat, you can always be sure that you're going to have a full clip unless you're completely out of ammo, which is nice. And I take full APCR just because I feel like the Batchat's such a versatile tank that if I'm in a situation that requires me to fire heat, I probably shouldn't be in that situation anyway. I should be adapting and finding another way to make tracks on the battlefield. Give me a second here. I'll play the game, but I'm going to take a drink. My voice is just... splendid. Doesn't waste a shot on that ISU there. He's obviously got in mind that he is low on ammo at this point. He's got a caravan right ahead of him who doesn't seem to be paying attention. And picks up the kill, lovely. 8 to 10, but we still got those heavy tanks in the south. And D has moved all the way over to the other side of the map. The woods, which are now clear, the enemy team have pushed all the way through them. But it's a difficult situation to judge at the moment. D is going, maybe seeing if he can pick up some vision in the south, while Phoenix is looking to see what he can find over this way, maybe pick up the RT. Spots the Sturv in the back, the ISU does know when he is. Can he snap the shot off? No, plows it straight into the ground. It's not good to be missing shells at this stage in the game, but it does pick him up. Plows a heat shell straight through the frontal armor of the Sturv 103, and now he's reloading his last remaining APCR shell. 259mm of pen puts a 720 horsepower to ton. 720 horsepower to use in this tank. Batchat 65 km an hour top speed with that 720 horsepower being a 25-ton tank. It gets around the battlefield elegantly. It's a small fairly low profile tank, and you're going to see that coming into play. If you do pick up this vehicle, he's got one more shell left, and that, you would think, would be his contribution to the game over. He is now completely out of ammo. We don't know D's ammo situation yet, but it would seem he's been firing a similar amount to Nick from the game that I've seen. Now, Nick's got no health at this point, but there is a Tortoise coming in. Tortoise having the highest DBM in the entire game with that top gun. Fires HE now, doing that amount of damage, 76. With the top gun, Tortoise has got 120mm of pen, 515 alpha damage with its HESH shells. So that was certainly not an alpha damage, a high explosive non-pen. From that gun, it would have done closer to 200 damage with non-pen. So Tortoise has got to have the stock gun from the AT-15. That's going to potentially be a problem due to lack of pen and lack of DBM. Now, tries to go for the man there. That wasn't the smartest decision, and ironically isn't taking damage and doing none because physics and realism, I guess. In any case, my apologies if my commentary is a little dim and down. I'm not feeling the best at the moment, but in any case, that T10 is going to be condensed on. T49, judging by the sounds we're hearing, has got the stock gun rather than the 150mm. But how can you contribute at this point? Well, but Nick is going to show you how. Batchat may only weigh 20 tons. T49 putting out a shell from that stock gun as we thought. Fires a heat shell straight into the tracks. That was 250mm of pen. They're communicating together. Again, that's his 250mm of pen. Gets the ram kill on T49 thanks to him and D's communications. And now, D himself over there in that Batchat is also out of ammo. We have two Batchats that are completely out of ammunition versus a fairly healthy IS-4, as I said, well, 140mm of frontal armor, 160 at the side, 122mm gun with 258mm of pen. It's got heat shells as well. This is a very fierce tank to be up against. The IS-4 is one of the best heavy tanks in the game for people who know its capabilities. They know its armor. It's one of the few tanks that you're meant to show the enemy more of your side armor than your frontal armor. It's an incredible tank. It's fierce, and I'd be reluctant to face it in a full health Batchat because its armor is likely to troll you if you're not careful with it. Now, the Tortoise is making very questionable plays at this point, being on a one-shot and punching on the IS-4. He goes down. Now, at this point, they put D in the cap. That is their only chance of winning, and Blake is going to try and play the bumpity-loopy, lead the IS-4 away, because the IS-4 may not have caught on at this point, but the Batchats actually have no feasible way of damaging him. And is the IS-4 gonna tank the bait? He's got 40 seconds left on the cap. He's gonna need all of that time to get back to the cap and outspot the Batchat. Oh. Random music choice on iTunes. I swear iTunes has just chosen to play the sound. I mean, be honest with yourself. If you were the IS-4, would you immediately think, Batchat's out of ammo, I can turn my back on one and I can go and defend the cap? I wouldn't. I'm a good player in my own way. I think I don't think I'd have caught on to that. I don't think it would have been going through my mind. Either way, what an exceptional game by two very skilled players in their Batchats. They worked beautifully together throughout that game. They weren't too cocky in their Batchats, which is easy to do. It's a weakness brought up by autoloaders. It is like, if you take a shot, you want to return fire. You're like, I've got an autoloader, I can put out shell after shell after shell, but no. They went with the flow of the combat. They changed it up. They always made sure that they had the ability to engage in a situation that was entirely of their own control, by their own merit. And that's exactly what you do in Batchats. They took their privilege that they had because of their mobility, because of their adaptability in gameplay, and it worked out splendidly. Getting how much damage did he get in the end? 6,812 points of damage. I'm going to go to the post-game results because I want to see how D performed as well. I'm very interested to see how many shells these Batchats actually hit with their lack of accuracy and lack of aim time, bearing in mind that most of these engagements, when they got the damage, were at significant distance. Let's have a look. Alright, here we go. We netted. Well, I say we had nothing to do with the damn thing. God damn it. Brothers in Arms, High Caliber, Top Gun, and look at this smorgasbord, this cheese board of enemy tanks. That was just a privilege to watch. Really, really enjoyable. Let's look at the hit ratio. 25. Wait, what? Oh yeah, 25 hit, 20 penned. That's what's that? That's 2/3 shells penned in the Batchat at distance. That's not bad. You want to have more. Of course, you want to have more. Let's look at the 530 shells. Only penned 13. He didn't have much luck with his shells, and I would say perhaps there was a bit of luck involved in that game, in the penetrations that they pulled out at distance on things like the T10 and the IS-4, but I wouldn't say any of those had a real significant impact on how the game ended, mate, because no matter how much health the IS-4 was on, I reckon they would have still been able to cap out a base at the end there. Profit of 75,000, even though he fired a couple of heat shells. Well, 5 heat shells. The entire clip he took of heat shells was used. And used there. My shell's about to fall on my... I have a glass desk and a shell that weighs like ridiculous amounts. Alright, so 2,400 spalling damage. Gentlemen, I've got no more to say about this game. This is exactly how you want to play your Batchats. If you would, look back at this game, see what I did, see how they played, see how they were treated, see how they work with each other, and adapt this into your own gameplay as a Batchat player, and you will improve. You really will. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure commentating for you, as always. As you can hear, my voice is like Morgan Freeman right now. I am very, very tired. So, the reason I'm doing commentaries at the moment, should anyone be interested in it, is that I found out through one and only 16, who makes wonderful videos, by the way. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check them out. But actually, YouTube's changed the algorithms, and I'm probably going to do better if I start uploading more regularly. So I'm going to try and upload a commentary every single day. And I'm most likely going to fail utterly at that. But hey-o! Let's try, eh? Thank you very much for watching, and farewell.